Hello Insiders, Daniel Pickett from AFI TV here today to give you a first look at DC Collectibles Superman the Animated Series 2-pack. Very excited for this set. Been excited for it ever since it debuted at Comic-Con last year, I believe. And it's finally here. It's going to be in your comic shops this week, as well as your fine online retailers. So check it out. It's an expansion of the DC line. We've gotten Batman the Animated Series. We've got Batman the New Adventures. We've gotten Batman Beyond. And now they're tiptoeing into Superman the Animated Series. And I couldn't be more excited about that. It's a 2-pack of Superman and Lois, as you can see here. Lois is the second civilian we've got in the line, behind, I guess maybe the third, because we got Bullock and Commissioner Gordon, so she'd be number 3. And it's, you know, it's for those of us that collected the old Kenner line back in the day for Superman, he wasn't exactly on model. The figure seemed very, very stylized. He had this really, I don't know, sort of bulbous, wide torso with this very skinny waist, these weird sort of etched lines, and his legs spread really far apart on all the figures that came out, at least in the first, I think, 2 waves. Some of the ones that started out overseas and then came here, they got better, but the first couple of batches were kind of strange and not exactly on model. So it's nice to see something far more on model and now also articulated. It's got this blue, red and white color scheme. It's the same size box that we've got with the Batman Beyond 3-pack. These were also sculpted by Irene Matar, who's done a ton of the animated series sculpting for DC Collectibles and does a tremendous job translating 2D to 3D. I was always surprised back in the day, like with the Kenner line, that we got Lois. Just the fact that we got her at all. They started putting out some strange choices there towards their end. Not strange, but surprising, I guess I should say, when we got like Alfred and Lois Lane. And we actually got Lois in at least 2 different paint jobs. She always came in a 4-pack, so you had to buy a bunch of extra figures with her, but you know, just the fact that we got her at all was always sort of amazing. And now look, we've got her here in this line as well, with some accessories, some different hands, and Superman himself. And of course, now that we have some Superman figures in the line, that opens the floodgates for what? That's right, Aquaman. Orange shirt, green pants Aquaman appeared on Superman the Animated Series. So at least we have to get one more figure in this line, if not, you know, a few others. Personally, I'd love to get Aquaman. I'd also love to see, I'd always love the design they did for Bizarro. And of course, the redesign of Brainiac, I think, is a home run as well. That would look great as a figure. And we're gonna crack this open and see how these guys fare up. So the box, as I said, you know, it's got Superman the Animated Series on top. It's got this kind of famous artwork that was from the opening of the show here. It says 24 pieces included, so the 2 figures, a variety of hands and stands, and maybe a few more surprises. We'll crack it open and see what else is in there. All right, let's slice her open. So Superman the Animated Series came out roughly around the time that they made the transition from Batman the Animated Series to the new Batman Adventure designs. So he's more in that style, so he will go with that. That Batman and those figures. I remember the year that this came out, it was that summer, I was driving down to San Diego Comic-Con with a buddy of mine, and we stopped at a Walmart along the way. And Walmart had an exclusive 2-pack that was Superman and Batman that I didn't even know was coming. It hadn't really been announced. And I picked that up just kind of on a lark, even though I already had both the figures just for fun. Grabbed them on the way down to Comic-Con, carried them with me, and I saw that there was going to be a big panel with a ton of the designers and creators of Batman and Superman the Animated Series. Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, Alan Burnett, all those guys were going to be on the panel. So I knew that day was coming. I took this with me to Comic-Con. I sat in on the panel, and then afterwards, this was back in the day when you could still just get into panels that you wanted to see. And I had my my pack, and I had it signed by those guys. And actually Bruce Timm drew a little Batman head between them on it. So it's kind of one of the prized things in my collection that the whole creative team signed the carded set for both those. So yeah, just kind of fun facts from me and my collecting history. Let's see, so all the accessories are behind them, as we typically see with this line, taped down. So we're gonna open that up. Okay. Twist ties on both the backs of the figures and rubber bands on their feet, but just one around the waist. So we'll crack those open. Okay, so here they are both open. We also have the instruction sheet right here. It tells you how to put the display base together. It shows you how to do Lois right there. And then on the back, it's just a nice render of Superman and Lois from her turnaround and his turnaround. And then of course we have the cross-cell poster. Then on the front, look at that. It's got Batman the Animated Series, New Batman Adventures, Batman Beyond, and Superman. That's very exciting to see. And on the inside, we have Holiday Joker, the Batman Animated, or Batman Beyond 3-pack, New Adventures Catwoman, New Adventures Riddler, the new Batgirl that there's also another video for this week, so take a look at that. And then the Batman Expressions pack, which is a very cool set. And then this set you see right here, the Superman Lois Lane. Now Lois actually has a little bit of sort of saran wrap on her hair that they put on there to make sure her hair didn't get sort of scraped up on shipping. So you can just slide that right off. So here's Superman, here's Lois on their stands. Let's take a look at Superman's articulation first. All right. Got nice side to side. He's got a little up and down. I wish there was a little more, you could raise his head a little more for some cool flying poses. That's always kind of a forgotten thing for some reason on a lot of Superman figures, which is something I'd always love to see. He's got, good ball jointed shoulders here with swivels. He's got the same for his elbows, pivots, wrist swivel, and pivot back and forth. Of course, the hands can be swapped out. He's got fists. Let's see, what's he got here? He's got fists. He's got some gripping hands, 2 gripping hands, like sort of gun, 2 sort of kung fu gripping hands, and then these are not quite fully open hands, sort of like a flying hand. I put 1 flying hand and 1 fist on him here for this purposes. And then, oh, he does have waist articulation. Spins at the waist, right at the belt line. He's got the hips that we know from this line that swing out. He's just got back and forth knees, no pivot, and then back and forth on the ankles. So still that's good articulation. Let's see here if we can get some good flying for him here. There we go. It's a goodly little Superman figure. He can stand on his own as well without the stand. We find his balance point, so that's great. Here's Lois on her stand. She's got very, very tiny feet, which is on model, but can sometimes make it difficult for standing. She does have side to side, a little up and down on her head. She's got, that big flap of hair here, but she can still turn her head all the way from side to side. It's soft enough. Nice articulation for the shoulders, even with the jacket. They sculpted it nicely where you can still raise arms all the way up. Same sort of pivot and swivel, 360 degrees for the elbow, and then pivot and back and forth on the wrist. And she's got a variety of hands as well. She does not have waist articulation just because of how the suit here works, the suit jacket and the skirt. She does have, she's got the same sort of hips as we've seen. so she can get a little range of motion. The skirt is very soft, so it does bend with her and will actually hold a position instead of pushing her legs back together. So that's nice. She's got knee articulation and no ankle articulation. These little guys are just too small for that, so I'm fine with her not having ankle articulation. And again, a variety of hands. These are sort of both open hands that she comes with, but she's also got fists, sort of clenching hands, and then 2 more open hands. I would have loved to have seen, you know, a little bit more fun accessories. I wouldn't even mind if they had reused, you know, like the DC Collectible or the old DC Direct Lois Lane. She came with like a notebook and a pencil. Even that I would have loved to have seen, you know, a little more variety in her accessories. Superman, I don't know, maybe we'll get to see an expression pack like we got with the Batman. That'd be kind of cool, with some angry eyes, some, you know, maybe blowing, doing his super breath, maybe some, you know, actually heat vision eyes, and maybe, you know, like an ass-kicked face, or a little bit roughed up, because every so often you get like blood coming out of his mouth. I'd say do the beard head, but you'd kind of want a whole new body for that, for when they, but I guess that technically that would have been from Justice League Unlimited, not Superman the Animated Series, so we probably wouldn't see those mixed together quite like that. So forget I said that, we don't need it. So here they are together once again. It's a great addition. Oh, I should get the New Adventures Batman out too, so you can kind of see them all together. Let's see here, I'll get him back on his stand. And then summon forth Bruce. Oh, he's down here. Yes. There we go. If you haven't seen like the multi-part World's Finest that they did for Superman Batman Animated Series crossover, or Batman the New Adventures, I highly recommend it. It's what Batman v Superman should have been in live action form. That's how Batman and Superman should have met, not bastardizing Dark Knight Returns for no reason and undercutting the fact that that whole story is built on their decades of history and not meeting for the first time, which was very strange. So whatever. That's, if you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor and go check out World's Finest for Batman and Superman the Animated Series. You'll thank me later. But I do want to thank the gang at DC Collectibles for letting me have this first look. As I said, I've been very excited for these guys. They do not disappoint. I hope we see more Superman the Animated Series characters finding its way into this line. I'm in love with this line, and I will buy as many as they make. So these guys are at your comic shops right now, so check them out, pick them up, or check out your local online retailer. If you don't have an online retailer, we've got some fine sponsors. Click on some of the banners and ads here on AFI, and they will get you taken care of. They're all good people, and they'll set you up with some awesome stuff. So thank you so much for watching. We'll be back with more great toy goodness, and our Comic-Con coverage is coming up, so keep your eyes here on AFI and you'll get to see just exactly what it is that DC Collectibles has in store for us with their new goodies. I can't wait to see that. They always have a nice little preview night on preview night right before the show opens for the press, so we're planning on going to that and seeing what new things. Some of them they'll let us take pictures of, some of them they'll just let us look at, and then we have to describe them to you. So that's something you can look forward to as well. So again, thank you so much to DC Collectibles. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know in the comments who from Superman the Animated Series you would like to see in figure form from DC Collectibles. I told you who I wanted to see next. Let's hear who you'd like to see from that line. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back with lots more toy goodness here on AFI TV.